Most welcome to a video about the fourth game of mine from the Six Nations tournament, or rather actually the second. It is the fourth game to be recorded, but it comes from round 2. And now we start with the 2 games I had black, and that was in round 2 against France and in round 4 against Italy. So we already know the preconditions. I try to avoid opening preparations. I try to play simple, and I try to play pretty fast. Anyway, avoiding time trouble and chaos. My opponent was Mathieu Dufort. I apologize for my bad French. Strong player, I think just below 2000, and a very sympathetic player as well, sympathetic person. And Sweden had unexpectedly won the first round at 4-0 against the youth team from Uppsala Chess Academy. It actually could have turned out 2-2. We won 2 lost positions with fighting spirit, but also a good deal of luck in it. And that I think was what we needed. Now we went for France, that we normally have the upper hand on, but this French team I think was pretty strong, and we didn't have our second highest rated player, William Johansson, in the team. So I saw the chances as fairly even. So I had anyway 200 ELO points more than my opponent. So I had the obligation not to take stupid risks or anything. I play a very strong guy, but to at least look for my chances. I had not prepared, and this I say for all games, but I had been not really okay after the chemotherapy some weeks before I even had to go 1 extra week to hospital for infection. So I didn't have much time, and then I focused on my family, kids, and so give them security and good mood as much as possible. So I was less prepared for the Six Nations than I used to be. But now we go for it. I am black, and Dufort opens with pawn to echo 4. Pawn to echo 4. And here I started to think. During the World Championship in Rhodes in October, sorry, I mainly went for the Caro-Kann. And I lost 1 game in the Caro. And I also thought that I hadn't really been active in the Caro in online chess, or sorry for having this coughing. You have to forgive me these periods. I thought I instead should try to find something that my opponent could not really have prepared a lot against, although I had a bit of experience with it. So I played Golf 6. And white played pawn to Delta 4, pawn to Delta 4, and I continued Bishop Golf 7. Bishop Golf 7. We will see in round 4 that I deviated a little bit from this theme, but having something pretty similar. In this position, the normal move is Knight Charlie 3, and so was played here as well, Knight to Charlie 3. And I pushed pawn Charlie 6, pawn to Charlie 6. So this can be called a little cousin to the Caro-Kann. So I wanted to have tabias, so to say, typical positions that I knew fairly well, but without a lot of theory, letting my opponent think from the get-go. This is the so-called Giordanice variation. It gives white a plus, that's it, but not such a big plus that it is a win or something. Black can get a lot of winning chances because a lot of pieces will remain on the board, and there are a lot of pawn pushes for both sides. The normal move for white here, the main move, is pawn to foxtrot 4, and black plays delta 5. White responds with echo 5. And then it will be a struggle. Black often tries to control the white squares foxtrot 5 and golf 4. But like playing bishop foxtrot 5, for example. And hotel 5 is a common move. But you can also go for an early knight hotel 6, play foxtrot 6, knight foxtrot 7, and try to undermine the white pawn centers by putting pressure on the black squares. It is a lot to be said about this variation. I have played it from time to time as black with pretty good results, especially when you want to play for a win without taking immense risks. But Mathieu had another idea. He played bishop to echo 3. Bishop to echo 3. And I kind of liked it. It was not a move that I had studied, I can say. I usually play this Giordanice game when I don't want to have a lot of forced lines, or I just want to play chess, so to say, accepting a slightly worse position, but with chances and complications. Bishop to echo 3 indicates that white wants to play maybe foxtrot 3, queen delta 2, castles queenside, hotel 4, gone 4, and go for it on the king side. So this very gentle person seemed to be a monster on the chessboard. That is most welcome, because then we will have a clash. And yeah, why not? So I tried to keep it simple. I played delta takes echo 4. Delta takes echo 4. White played queen delta 2. No, sorry. I have to go back one. I misread. Not delta takes echo 4. I'm so sorry. Delta 5. Delta 5 has to be played first. Bishop echo 3 and then delta 5, of course. Then it came queen delta 2. Queen delta 2, according to plan. And delta takes echo 4 now. Delta takes echo 4. Knight takes echo 4. Knight takes echo 4. And here we have a kind of Caro-Kann-like position anyway, but the bishop is fianchettoed on golf 7. I would say that we can think of the so-called Karpov Caro-Kann, which is not... Yeah, he played it a lot in the 1980s especially. That is from move 1, echo 4, Charlie 6, delta 4, delta 5, knight Charlie 3, delta takes echo 4, knight takes echo 4, and then knight delta 7. The idea was to play knight golf foxtrot 6 and have a very harmonious position. And I still think this is a slightly underestimated line for black. But I have an advantage here that the bishop on golf 7 is active. It is hitting delta 4. And this makes it a little bit more difficult for white to soon push on with bishop hotel 6. Yeah, now there is a knight on golf 8 also, but the d4 has to be looked after. So I started to like my position a little bit, not saying that it was better, but I saw that maybe when an opponent has these aggressive ideas, it feels a bit nice to provoke by playing calm moves. So I also continued now with knight delta 7. Knight delta 7. Preparing for knight golf foxtrot 6, and so I can recapture with the knight on delta 7 if an exchange will take place. White castles queenside. Castles queenside. Another thing about this position is that I actually in some lines can think of castling queenside myself. White has now determined his king's position, which is also something I would welcome. I played knight golf foxtrot 6. Knight golf foxtrot 6. And here we can see that both sides have played good moves. Here I think that instead of playing knight takes knight that Dufort chose in the game, it would have been better to preserve the knight for a while on Echo4 by playing foxtrot 3. I think that would have given better chances. The position would be about equal. But it followed knight takes foxtrot 6 check, knight takes foxtrot 6. And you can see I have actually managed very well with keeping it simple. I have a very solid position. I have managed to exchange one minor piece, which is good because white actually has the space advantage thanks to the pawn on delta 4. Exchanging minor pieces then is normally favoring the part with less space. It is also difficult for white to know where to play the king's bishop, the light squared bishop. If it goes to Charlie 4, I can threaten it with Bravo 5. If then it would go to Bravo 3, I can push Alpha 5, and I can actually gain space and start a pawn storm against white's king's position. On the other hand, if the bishop stops on delta 3, then my bishop on Charlie 8 can take this nice diagonal by bishop echo 6. So the alpha 2 echo 6, alpha 2 golf 8, we can say, that diagonal is more important than the one from Bravo 1 to Hotel 7, because a bishop on delta 3 would just stare into granite on the pawns on Hotel 7 and golf 6. So these are some small things that starts to make white's position a little more difficult to play. White chose foxtrot 3. Foxtrot 3. And yeah, I was pretty pleased with this. This is not the best move. Not very bad either, but it gives white the weakness now on echo 3. But hold your horses, Magnusson. You just suggested that white would play foxtrot 3 earlier. Yes, but then it was at least combined with having a strong knight on echo 4. Probably black would have had to exchange on echo 4 sooner or later, and white would have played foxtrot takes echo 4. I don't go deep into these lines right now, but that is the big difference. Now the pawn on foxtrot 3 blocks the knight on golf 1, so we get another problem: how to develop the knight on the king's side. First I spoke about problems developing the light squared bishop. Now his colleague also face some problems. We shouldn't exaggerate, but yeah, such small moves can cause trouble, especially practical problems when you have to work very hard for every move. I played bishop to Echo6, bishop to Echo6, and now I actually have a decent advantage, maybe half a pawn. Threatening on alpha 2. White played king bravo 1, king to bravo 1. Yeah, I have to mention that Stockfish, instead of bishop Echo6, favors the direct queen to delta 5, provoking Charlie 4 and then just go back to delta 7. But yeah, but it resembles my idea that you will see here. No, I played bravo 5. No, it is here. You have to, instead of bravo 5, black could now have played queen delta 5, white plays Charlie 4, queen delta 7. And then with the idea of bravo 5. But I chose bravo 5 directly. And that is not such a bad move either. I'm sure that Stockfish is correct. If I had managed to provoke Charlie 4, bravo 5 comes with more force. There will be more lines open in front the white king. So it can be worth spending a tempo first, queen delta 5, Charlie 4, queen delta 7, with the plan of delta 5. But I was in my mood of playing simple bravo 5. And the idea is now to control the light squares. Sooner or later, I probably castles kingside, but I can launch an attack. Queen delta 5, and if white plays bravo 3, there can be alpha 5, alpha 4. So soon it can be very sharp play in the game. White plays knight echo 2, knight to echo 2. And this is a good move because if nothing else, if I play queen delta 5 now, white can respond with knight to Charlie 3, kicking away the queen at the same time as protecting alpha 2. Instead, I played knight delta 5, knight delta 5, and white played knight foxtrot 4, knight to foxtrot 4. I exchanged knights, knight takes foxtrot 4, knight to foxtrot 4, and black, and white recaptures. Bishop takes foxtrot 4, bishop takes foxtrot 4. So another pair of knights have been exchanged. So now we have the two bishops each. Queen, two rook and kings, of course, equal pawns. But we can see that white is now lagging in development. I actually have a little bit of plus when it comes to development. So I now played queen delta 5, queen to delta 5, threatening alpha 2. And it's not much for white to choose from. He has to play pawn to bravo 3, pawn to bravo 3. And it's often nice to see your opponent starting to moving pawns in front of his king. For two reasons in this case. I can now think of alpha 5. That would be a perfectly good move, probably better than the one I played. Alpha 5, alpha 4, going for an attack. In general terms, when you have played bravo 3, ideas with Charlie 5 will come to the fore, because if delta takes Charlie 5, black might play queen to echo 5 and then having checkmate threats along the long diagonal, of course, depending on where the other pieces are. But these ideas are coming now with Bravo 3. So the game that started so slowly, so peacefully, has now, even after move 14, become pretty complicated and sharp, and it has sharpened up. I played Rook Delta 8. Rook Delta 8. This is not at all the best move. Probably Castle and King side was the better, but Alpha 5 was maybe also better. But yeah, for some reason I chose to not commit my king's position yet, although it's 99% sure that I would Castle's king side. But I thought like this: if I threaten the pawn on Delta 4, which I do right now, if white then wants to defend it with bishop echo 3, then I can castle king side, and white no longer then has the white can then play bishop hotel 6. That is possible, but it has cost white a tempi. That was my reasoning between flicking in Rook Delta 8. White played bishop to echo 3, as I hoped, and now I castled. Castle's king side. So we now have a full development on black side. White has still the rook on hotel 1 and the bishop on foxtrot 1 that have to explain their meaning in the chess life. White pushed Charlie 4, and this is really a committal move. Really committal. I would say that we might have a kind of frustration from White's side. He is an attacking player. Black has played a bit boring, but is anyway on the offensive. And it's difficult for White to develop pieces. If you play bishop delta 3, okay, you have to watch out for bishop takes delta 4. It might not work, but what if it does? For example, you have to watch out for Charlie 5 push now. And if delta takes Charlie 5, queen echo 5, with serious threats along the long diagonal. Maybe White can maneuver those things. Maybe Charlie 5 is not so good against bishop delta 3 anyway. White might push in, flink in bishop echo 4, the queen moves from delta 5 and White pushes delta 5. Yeah, not a clear position at all. So what I want to say is that White, even for simple developing moves, now have to calculate a lot, and the time difference starts to tell here. I have played pretty fast. I don't think I have spent more than 20 minutes on the game so far, and my opponent was about 1 hour. He's probably half an hour left, and I have 1 hour and 10 minutes. Such things start to have an impact. So Charlie 4, I think, was an attempt to try to play actively in the center and get the pieces developed. So I played Bravo takes Charlie 4, Bravo takes Charlie 4, Bishop takes Charlie 4, Bishop takes Charlie 4. But now I can play Queen Delta 6, Queen Delta 6. And you should also see here that now Queen Alpha 3 can be a resource in some tactical variations, and we will soon see one of those. Of course, White could now have played Bishop takes Echo 6, and I play Queen takes Echo 6. But in such position, the play for black is very easy. I can, for example, play rook delta 5, rook alpha delta 8, and then push Charlie 5. Another possibility, of course, is alpha 5, alpha 4. Whereas, so my attack on the white king is already going, whereas white is not even started with his. That is the big difference here. White played bishop to foxtrot 4, bishop to foxtrot 4. I guess the idea was to try to plonk a bishop on echo 5 and change the passive piece on echo 3 into at least a good piece on echo 5. That was a good way of thinking. But I have a resource. I first played bishop foxtrot 5 check. Bishop foxtrot 5 check. And now you can see bishop delta 3 is absolutely no-no, because it would follow queen takes delta 4 with some actually pretty serious threats along the long diagonal. So white actually has to move the king and to a black square. It followed king Charlie 1, king to Charlie 1. And now I played queen to alpha 3 check. Queen to alpha 3 check. White played queen bravo 2, queen to bravo 2. And here Stockfish has a lot of ideas. He first of all wants queen alpha 5 to bravo 6, or if nothing else, queen bravo 4. But my move was almost as good, and I think from a human perspective it was the best. I played queen takes queen check. Queen takes bravo 2. Queen takes bravo 2. King takes bravo 2. King takes bravo 2. And now I actually can calmly collect a pawn. Rook takes delta 4. Rook takes delta 4. And I threaten discovered checks with, because the bishop is on golf 7. So white is obliged to respond with rook takes rook. Rook takes delta 4. Rook takes delta 4. And I play bishop takes delta 4 check. Bishop takes delta 4. So now we have an ending, but with some pieces left. And with 2 rooks and 2 bishops on the board, the king's position still matters. It is actually possible to set up mating nets in such endings. So white tried to activate his king, but that can also be a bit risky. He played king alpha 3. King alpha 3. And I don't remember how much time white had, but I don't think it was much more than 15 minutes. I still had a lot of time. And having your king here with short of time, that can be difficult to handle. King to alpha 3. I pushed echo 5. Echo 5. So this is good for many reasons. First of all, it pushes a pawn that can be passed. We have the F, foxtrot, and echo pawns for black that together can create a free echo pawn. So why not push it, and you protect the bishop on delta 4 simultaneously. White played bishop delta 2, bishop to delta 2. This is a little tricky. One could think that I can now just what could I do? Nothing special. I think I have to develop a little bit of pieces here first. I play rook echo 8. Rook to echo 8. There are of course many suggestions from Stockfish here, but they don't give so many different results. Black is a solid pawn up, and now it's just important to develop your pieces, like the last piece of mine. Move the king so that the foxtrot pawn might be able to go to foxtrot 5, and then look after either possibilities to snare the white king on alpha 3 into some kind of trouble, or just push foxtrot 5, echo 4, and go down the echo file. So make it simple, and you have better time and better position. White played golf 4. Golf 4. And this is a move that I also welcome, because now white has another weakness on foxtrot 3. Another weakness. He has weakened the foxtrot 3 pawn. See, we keep it like that. It can be very important. Let's imagine that we have got rid of the white square bishops. Then I might be able to put a rook on delta 3, for example, and attack foxtrot 3. We even see many variations in the game where white runs up with the king or manages to penetrate with his rook on the black queen side, gaining a pawn on alpha 7, for example, or hotel 7. But black, meanwhile, can capture the pawn on foxtrot 3 and then have connected passed pawns on echo and foxtrot. All right. I played bishop to echo 6. Bishop to echo 6. White played bishop delta 3. Bishop to delta 3. And I played foxtrot 5. Foxtrot 5. We exchanged pawns. Golf takes foxtrot 5. Golf takes foxtrot 5. And I recaptures. Golf takes foxtrot 5. Golf takes foxtrot 5. So now you see that we have these pawns on foxtrot and echo. I should make sure I don't lose any of them. Activating my king would be the first thing to do, I would say. And then see if I can start to push pawns. So my play is pretty easy. I can also use the golf file for my rook. King foxtrot 7, rook golf 8. And then it starts to come up possibilities with rook to golf 2, such things. Okay, white played rook echo 1, rook to echo 1. And I played king foxtrot 7. King to foxtrot 7. Following the plan, my idea is next king foxtrot 6 and bishop delta 5 maybe. Then maybe eventually echo 4 after preparations. White played bishop to echo 3. Bishop to echo 3. And here many roads lead to Rome. I can swap bishops. That is a clear advantage for black. I think Stockfish is up on 2 to 3 pawns here in advantage. But the move I also chose is not such a bad idea either. I just played rook delta 8, improving the position of the rook a little bit. Asking questions to white, who now is in serious time pressure, under 5 minutes, whereas I think I had something like 35. So now the bishop on delta 3 is a little bit loose. So it's if we exchange on delta 4, I just take with the rook, and I would threaten the bishop and the pawn on Charlie 4. So, no, not the pawn on Charlie 4. There is no pawn, sorry. But I would threaten the bishop, and the pawn on Foxtrot 3 can soon be weakened. Bishop delta 5, king Foxtrot 6, rook Foxtrot 4, for example. So white played bishop Charlie 4, bishop to Charlie 4, bishop Charlie 4. And now I choose to simplify again, giving white another pawn weakness. Bishop takes Charlie 4, bishop takes Charlie 4, and Bravo takes Charlie 4. Bravo takes Charlie 4. So now we can have a look at the pawn structure. White has actually 4 isolated pawns. 4 pawn islands. I have 5 pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also 4 islands. I have isolated pawns on Hotel 7, Alpha 7, and Charlie 6. But the big difference is my connected pawns on Foxtrot and Echo 5. And also it is more difficult for white to attack my pawn on Hotel 7, for example. Here, bishop takes Echo 3 would have been perfectly fine. The rook ending is very good for black. I could also have pushed king Foxtrot 6, but I played bishop to Charlie 3. Bishop to Charlie 3. White was now in time trouble, as I mentioned. So I like to complicate things a little bit now for white. Now I threaten the rook on Echo 1, but I also intend to play rook delta 3 with threats on Echo 3. Rook delta 3 threatens Echo 3. If the bishop would move from Echo 3, Foxtrot 3 might fall. And we also have discovered checks along the 3rd rank had I moved the bishop from Charlie 3. So now we start to have a lot of things to think of for white in a very short time. I think it was down to 3 minutes here. He played rook Bravo 1, rook to Bravo 1, and that is the only sensible move. It's a good move. He tries to now get counterplay with rook Bravo 7, for example. I played pawn Alpha 5. Pawn Alpha 5. It would have been perfectly fine, maybe even better to play rook delta 3. But I thought, okay, why take any risk? At least I remove a pawn that was threatened. Bishop takes Alpha 7. I can have use for bishop Bravo 4 check when that is protected. And I remembered what a very good chess coach, international master, let's see, what was his name? Ivo Ne, I think his name was, from Estonia. I played him as a youngster. Maybe I was, maybe it was in 1988 or something. We played in the Rilton Cup in Stockholm, strong tournament, and I had time pressure and he had the better position. But then he didn't do the forcing moves. He strengthened his position, played King Hotel 2 and made preparatory moves so that I had to think all the time. So this was a little bit the idea I had here for myself this time. Play Alpha 5, then white has to figure out what to do, and he is down on time. White played rook Bravo 7 check. Rook Bravo 7 check. And here I initially planned king to Echo 6. King to Echo 6. But I thought, yeah, what black would do simply, many times here, is to play foxtrot 4, threaten the bishop, and rook delta 3, capturing the pawn on foxtrot 3. It might be that white manages to take a pawn on hotel 7 or Charlie 6, but the difference is that I have the two connected pawns. They will simply march through. White cannot make anything with a single passed pawn when the black pawns are already far advanced and they help each other down. This is a completely winning position according to Stockfish. But I thought that king echo 6 would be the move that white would expect here. My king probably, after foxtrot 4, would anyway turn out to land on foxtrot 5. And then this idea with the rook delta 3 would come. So I instead played king golf 6, king to golf 6. Because I thought that this is a move that it is less likely that my opponent already has calculated on. So giving your opponent short on time, now we can think of maybe being on down to 1 to 2 minutes. A little different nuance of the position can never hurt. Let's say that black now would play something like rook Charlie 7. Yeah, I push foxtrot 4. And then rook king foxtrot 5 maybe, and rook delta 3, according to plan. My opponent instead took a chance to activate the rook in another way. Play rook echo 7. And this is, of course, a serious blunder, but very much understandable in time pressure after having been very strongly pressed during the entire game. Now I played bishop bravo 4 check. Bishop bravo 4 check. I actually got a little bit of use for that alpha 5 move after all. King bravo 2, king to bravo 2, and bishop takes echo 7. Bishop takes echo 7, and white resigned. Of course, an unfortunate end to the game, but yeah, the evaluation was that king golf 6, king echo 6, they both gave me about 3 pawns up. Clearly winning ending, and very difficult for white to play in time travel also. Yeah, what can we learn from this game? I'm not so sure myself. I think white played a good game most of the time. Such small things, exchanging directly on foxtrot 6, knight takes foxtrot 6 instead of playing foxtrot 3, forcing me to get rid of the knight by knight takes echo 4, foxtrot takes echo 4. That is one small nuance that could be kept in mind. But also maybe not to keep to your initial plan. Bishop echo 3, queen delta 2. They didn't really seem to be the most critical line that I could face. I guess that bishop echo 3, queen delta 2 was more a line had I played the perk defense, the pitch, with the knight on foxtrot 6 already, and pawn on delta 6. But this structure that we get is a Caro-Kann-like structure, and there bishop echo 3 and queen delta 2 don't fit in so well. When we exchanged knights on foxtrot 6, white played foxtrot 3. That is also a bit of a weakening move. And we can see that black has the advantage of taking control of light squares. I have bishop echo 6, pawn to Bravo 5, queen to Delta 5. Those things put pressure on white. We exchange some pieces, and I start to put pressure on Delta 4, having such moves like Charlie 5 coming into consideration, and white makes something very human, pushing Charlie 4, telling, I will not be the ball that you boot around all the time. I have an own agents. That is very much understandable, but it weakened the white king's position even more, and we saw how that actually resulted in losing a pawn after this maneuver. Bishop foxtrot 5 check, queen Delta 6, queen alpha 3. So yeah, these are such things that I think explain why white came a bit worse in this game. Not playing bad at all, but the positions, they seem to be very simple. But as not many pawns had been pushed yet, from black sides at least, and not from whites either, there were so many dynamic possibilities left in the position. So such simple lines, simple position can soon start to be very difficult to play because they are so rich. So yeah, sorry for talking so long, but I was very curious myself about this game. I still don't understand really why I got such a good game. I probably will continue working on it, but I hope that you also have learned something from this video. Thank you for now.